It was a ghastly tale of a winter's night. One of an invisible killer and a crime perpetrated on the pavement along Briar Road. As the victim lay at death's door, the mystery of just who had stabbed the young lady from behind had been resolved. But no sooner had my friend saved that Eastern exchange student from his harrowing plight than in the dim, flickering shadows of gaslight did a second bizarre crime rend the stillness of that very night. I dare say most can still recall the sensational headlines of the day. Haunted apartment of death, the condemned criminal's curse, the dread demon of coal gas. Yet, though the great detective had at once discerned the truth upon his arrival at the scene, it only proved to be the overture that announced the rising of the curtain on a most tragic play.
My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a fledgling lawyer, just starting out on my journey. 6 months ago, I arrived as a visiting student of law, having made the long voyage across the sea from the Empire of Japan to here, London, England. And on the way, in quite extraordinary circumstances, I made the acquaintance of a world-famous detective. Currently, I reside in the attic of the detective's own lodgings, from where I run my legal consultancy of sorts. I have successfully defended a number of clients in Britain's highest court, the Old Bailey. But since a particularly grueling and unforgettable legal battle 4 months ago now, I haven't returned to the courtroom. In truth, I lost my right to return. What? I'm not a lawyer? I cannot practice being a lawyer anymore? But that epic trial was just one small part of an epic tale. A tale which was now about to awaken from slumber. Thanks to a letter that arrived this morning from my homeland. Don't tell me I'm so broke I cannot even afford any food. What a delicious smell wafting up the stairs. It must be nearly time for breakfast. I'd better go down to Mr. Sholmes' suite and say good morning to the great detective and his flatmate. I guess we don't have to worry about food. Iris does breakfast all the time, right? Bruno, good. I was just about to call up to you. The bacon's ready. Good morning, Iris. It smells delicious as usual. Before we eat, though, I have some news. I had a surprise this morning. Not another word, Mr. Naruhodo. This could be just the abstruse thing for my pre-breakfast stagnation-repelling mental stimulation, my dear fellow. Morning to you too, Mr. Sholmes. Yes, I see. So that's it. The truth is as clear to me as day. My faculties of observation have revealed it again. What are you talking about? You, Mr. Naruhodo, you have this very morning met with a surprise. Well, is that not the case? Really, my dear fellow, it barely warrants explanation. Firstly, your hair is particularly unkempt, somewhat reminiscent of a bird's nest. My hair's always like that. Secondly, you have neglected to fasten the third button of your jacket. Clearly, when considered together, these two facts point to you having been flustered this morning. Can I talk now? But of course, though I don't look for admiration, you understand? My hair always looks like this. It's been this way since I first met you. Oh, it has? And the button was ripped off last night, if you remember. By you. What? Sholmes, what did you do? Have you pulled your button off? Ah yes, I recall the incident now. It was after supper, was it not? As the evening advanced, I picked up my violin and began to play the wailing notes of a haunting tune. But then, to my utter dismay, the third string snapped. Why did it have to happen? Why? Little wonder then that in my vexation I grabbed the first button I saw and ripped it from its proper place. What? Why? Well, I'd like it back now, please. It's troubling me that I can't fasten my jacket. And it's troubling me that you expect me to know where it is. Somewhere thereabouts on the floor, one presumes. Helpful. What matters at the present time, my dear fellow, is simply whether or not my deduction was unerring. But even though your argument completely is wrong, you think the deduction was correct? I mean, the goal statement, the target statement was correct? But Hurley, Bruno said it when he came in, didn't he? I had a surprise this morning. Oh, yeah, I did. Well, that really is a surprise. Yes, this man is the pride of the British Empire, the famous consulting detective, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. There can't be a single person in the world who doesn't know his name. Alright then, enough of this silly conversation. Come and eat this bacon before it goes cold. And I have a new herbal tea for you to try too, my latest special blend. And here we have Iris Wilson, Mr. Sholmes' lodger and companion, a truly exceptional young girl, who's the author of a highly successful serialization here in London. Yes, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes is published in Rand's magazine. So, Mr. Naruhodo, won't you put us out of our misery? What surprised you this fine morning? Ah, well, I received a letter from Japan. Oh, from Susie, you mean? Was it really? That's right, and she had some rather startling news, in fact. Ah, intriguing indeed. You must tell us all about it over breakfast. Oh yes, what fun! Okay. Can I look around? Has it even changed? That's still there. Huh? What is that? There's the violin. Has the dialogue changed? That machine really is imposing, isn't he? But I can never remember its name. Hurley calls it his great analytoscope. It can analyze anything at all. That doesn't really help me. What does analyzing something even mean? You mean like chemically? Ah, an extremely astute question, Mr. Naruhodo. So unlike you. Sorry? Well, as Iris said, my machine here spits out analysis results of anything with which you care to present it. But how to interpret those results, that's the key, and I confess I have no idea. Clearly, I'm going to have to construct a great analytoscope to solve the problem. That might not help. Okay, so it just spits out random results and you don't know how to interpret them? I thought you built this machine, how do you not know? Books, paper, scientific implements, these shelves are stuffed to the grundles. Mrs. Sato wouldn't be able to help herself if she were here. She can't stand mess. And Susie might not be able to stand mess, but she wouldn't dare touch those shelves. Oh, why not? Everything in intricate balance. Hurley spends ages on it. If you were to touch even one thing, the whole lot would come tumbling down. Susie noticed it was a very delicate arrangement right from the outset. You make it sound like a meeting of great minds. But the truth is, Mrs. Sholmes just needs to tidy up. Ah yes, Mr. Sholmes' faithful musical companion. Wasn't this violin made by somebody famous? Yes, it's a Stradivarius. Though I'm afraid you'd have to save up for 100 years before you could afford one, Runo.
But didn't you buy it for a song, Mr. Sholmes?
I found it at a pawnbrokery among the forfeited articles. It clearly said Stradivarius on the label.
What?
The ignorant broker had no idea of its true value, you see, so I paid a mere 55 shillings for it. Yes, I have something of a turn for shopping. Herlock Sholmes, bargain hunter.
But is it really a Stradivarius then?
But of course, my dear fellow, it said so on the label.
I think perhaps the ignorant broker had something of a turn for selling. Genius.
When it gets to this time of year, Londoners seem to leave their hearths alight all day long, and I love it. There's something very relaxing about watching the flames flit and dance about. But a fireplace in days of summertime is a waste of space, really no use at all. Rather like a great detective in days of no crimes and no criminals, Hurley?
Ouch, that hurt.
But consider this, instead of a fireplace, a frost place. That's my latest idea. An extraordinary hearth from which emanates a cool breeze in the hot summer months. What do you think?
I think if you invented such a thing, your name would go down in history.
The principle is extremely simple. One must of course light a cold fire in the hearth. A cold fire.
Yes, of course, brilliant.
The trouble is, none of the fires I built ever burn cold. How it taunts me. So, as you British say, it's a bit of a damn squib.
That's something the British say?
Isn't squib like a non-magical person born into a magical household or something like that?
Ah yes, the huge metal chest with the lace cloth laid on it, being used as a table. It's very sturdy, that's for sure, and firmly locked shut.
The chest contains my father's detailed records of Hurley's many cases.
Yes, so I've been led to believe, though personally I've never actually seen inside.
And that's the way it will stay. Those papers are a secret between Daddy and me. If you go opening it uninvited, you might find yourself being bitten.
What? Is there a beast inside there or something?
Oh, that's the Napoleon bust that Sholmes likes to throw to the ground now and then.
These are different pieces of evidence from cases you've solved, aren't these, Mr. Sholmes?
Not quite, Mr. Naruhodo, not quite. These trinkets are a selection from cases I've solved with particular aplomb. They are souvenirs of my success. Memories, Mr. Naruhodo, memories.
Really? So tell me about a case in which the bust of Napoleon featured.
I forget.
Memories, he says. Wonderful. Mr. Sholmes, wonderful.
Wait.
Oh. This is Iris's part of the living room?
I look forward to finding out what aroma your tea will have, Iris, every single day. Well, I infuse a different concoction of herbs from the garden every time, so it's never the same twice.
When you call it a concoction, it sounds more like a science experiment than something for teen time.
Oh yes, that's because different blends can have very different properties. Some calm you down, some make you feel jolly, some give you energy. Today's particular blend is something quite special, so you're really in for a treat.
That sounds ominous.
There are so many different bottles up there on the charming little set of white shelves. Oh, do be careful, Runo. You mustn't try the contents of any of those bottles, even if you're hungry.
I wouldn't do something stupid like that. I'm not a child, you know. I'm not dumb.
Well, I wish I could say the same for Hurley. The other day, he polished off a full bottle of one of my alkaloids.
What? He what?
He said he was hungry.
Be extra careful. Alkaloids. Isn't this the same stuff made of the poison, the new poison in Japan is made of?
I can type with my eyes shut, you know.
I can believe it. When a deadline's approaching, you sound like a Gatling gun.
That reminds me of a dream I had the other day. It was such a funny one, it woke me actually. I was typing for a whole hour in the pitch black, but I didn't make a single mistake.
That's incredible.
But then, when it got light, I found that there wasn't any paper in the machine.
Uh-oh.
Now I wonder if I'd actually been typing at all.
I think you might just have fallen asleep on the job. Okay. Oh, I can move? I can move to my room, but no. Let's converse then. This is the letter that arrived from Japan this morning by international post.
Oh, how lovely. Look at Susie's beautiful writing. I wish I could read it.
And how is your judicial assistant faring, may I ask? She's very well, thank you. In fact, according to what she's written, she actually appeared as a lawyer at the Japanese Supreme Court and won a case.
Oh, really? Oh, isn't she wonderful?
A cut above your good self, my dear fellow. I've won cases too, you know. Apparently, Mr. Natsume appeared in the trial as a witness.
Natsume. No, I don't recall that name.
Of course you do. We helped the man twice. You know, in those 2 cases that took place on Briar Road 6 months ago. You know, the one that the game has kept the secret from the player all this time. Ah, the mustache, twitchy man with the somewhat feline eyes and a mustache.
He didn't have 2 mustaches, Hurley.
Yes, who could forget those 2 cases? They made a very deep impression on me. Although I must confess the details are a little hazy now. A very deep impression they made on you, clearly. So, what was the startling news penned by Mr. Sato? Do you remember the case of the haunted lodgings, Mr. Sholmes? Ah yes, it's very interesting, you know. I don't feel entirely uncertain that a case of that nature did not occur. That's so funny. In the first game, Natsume made some remarks about how his apartment was haunted and stuff like that. And also that his neighbor, the clown, the jester person, which is, I think, related to the hidden case, to the secret case. That's pretty interesting. I was wondering why it didn't even matter for the first game, but I think they must have planned a second game already, written out the story and such, and just dropped in some foreshadowing in the first game. He's totally forgotten then. Anyway, in her letter, Mr. Sato asked that we read over her case notes again and investigate further. Though it took place half a year ago, for what purpose? Because of something that Mr. Natsume said to her, apparently, he suggested that the real reason why she was called back to Japan so suddenly might have something to do with that case of the haunted lodgings. Oh? On Mr. Natsume's return to Japan, Mr. Sato's father questioned him about the case, she says, and something Mr. Natsume said appeared to trouble Professor Mikotoba, prompting him to send that telegram.
Oh, that case, yes. It was very strange, wasn't it?
Yes.
And I had compiled the whole story into a nice, neat manuscript ready for publication too. But then Hurley here was all funny about it, remember? He was very mean.
Mean? What do you mean?
That story must not be published, you said, very mysteriously as well.
Really? I said that? Are you sure? Do you perhaps know something about it as well, Mr. Sholmes? About why Mr. Sato was suddenly told 4 months ago that she had to return?
It's been 4 months now since we waved Susie off at Dover. It was such a shock, wasn't it? The way she just suddenly announced that she had to go back.
Indeed, it was, due to a telegram she received from her homeland, I believe. That's right, telling her to return urgently.
Yes, because her father had passed away.
No, it just said he was suffering from a high fever, the cause of which was unknown. He's not dead. But according to this letter, that news about her father's fever was just a ruse.
A ruse? So Susie's daddy lied to her so that she'd make the voyage back home? Why would he do that?
I have to admit I have absolutely no idea. But she believes it's almost certainly related to the case of the haunted lodgings. Summoning her back to Japan so suddenly like that, I wonder what Mr. Sato's father is hiding.
Hurley, do you know what it's all about?
Oh! He changed his clothes.
Oh, well, who can say?
What? But you said...
Please, I have engagements, my dear fellow. My calendar is quite surprisingly full today.
Right.
And a stringent analysis of the matter would be excessive, I feel, even if I were quite at leisure. So, mend the fort in my absence, won't you, Iris? I will, Hurley, don't worry. See you later.
He scuttled off rather quickly there. Can we check his calendar to see whether he actually has stuff to do? I think perhaps Miss Professor Pikotoba isn't the only person hiding something here. Soseki-san was involved in 2 cases, but only one of them was forbidden from being published. By, of all people, Mr. Sholmes.
Aha, I found them at last.
Iris, are they?
The notes about the case, that's right. Susie and I compiled them together. The case of the haunted lodgings. Do you want to read them, Runo?
Absolutely. Thank you, Iris. I have no idea what secrets could still be hiding in the shadows of this case. But perhaps if I read over the notes again, something might come to light.
That's the spirit.
Oh boy, are we gonna play the case now? And so, Iris and I decided to read over the case notes again, together. Everything from what happened to our investigation and that fierce battle in court that followed. Reliving every detail, I just need to find a clue, and I have all the time in the world. Because of course, I'm no longer allowed to practice law in the courts of Great Britain. Because of that case? But that's not entirely true. We did have a case after that, right? We played a case after that. What was it again? The last case, I believe? The case with Gina Lestrade? Yeah, we did that, right? It was 6 months ago, a mysterious incident that unfolded on the wintry streets of London. A young woman was found lying on the snowy pavement of Briar Road with a knife on her back. In her back. Fortunately, her life was spared, but she was unconscious for several days following the incident. The fog was thick and nobody saw her attacker, but By a cruel twist of fate, a visiting Japanese student was walking behind her at the time and was duly arrested. That man was Soseki-san, and the man who effected his arrest was Mr. Sholmes. Believing in our compatriot's innocence, Susato-san and I decided to represent Soseki-san in court. And after a grueling trial of many twists and turns, we finally managed to prove his innocence.
Joyful joys, jubilant jubilation!
Was the man's reaction after the trial, but his jubilant jubilation was short-lived. We received a telegram from Mr. Sholmes the following morning. The victim of the Briar Road stabbing has regained consciousness. Hurry to Bart's at once. So Susato-san and I summoned a hansom and headed immediately to the hospital. "21st of February. There you are at last. Good morning, Mr. Sholmes. I think not.
Oh?
You're late. What on earth took you so long?
Your telegram only arrived at 5 o'clock, Mr. Sholmes, and it's a 20-minute ride to the hospital.
That's right, and it's 5:30 now. I think we made very good time.
The time is utterly irrelevant. The fact is, I have been waiting for what has felt like an eternity. In point of fact, I myself was awoken at 4 this morning by a telegram boy, and feeling it was somewhat unjust that I alone had been roused at such an hour, I sent one to you.
Well, thanks for that.
Anyway, you're here now, so the victim is over there. She's only just regained consciousness. You should introduce yourselves, and I shall observe from here.
Why does it matter? Does she have anything else for us? So that's the lady who was found on the snow-covered pavement with a knife in her back. At this point, we already finished the trial, right? Everything was fine.
Her name is... Ah yes, here we are, Miss Green.
Olive Green, I believe. What is this? The Michelin Man? This rounded wooden figure isn't the most charming, is it?
I don't think that's a decoration, Mr. Naruhodo. It's an artist's mannequin, I believe, used when practicing sketching the human form in different poses.
Really? It's not exactly what you'd call a typical figure for that purpose though, is it?
No, I suppose not. I confess I've never seen one quite so full-figured before.
Well, if you want to draw a full-figured person, it's the right tool for the job. Ah, an artist's mannequin. I've always wanted something like that. I've been neglecting practicing my foreshortenings. Look, there's a photograph in this frame here.
Oh yes, it's a picture of a young gentleman.
He looks to be about the same age as Miss Green, I would say. Perhaps the young woman's special someone, do you think?
My, Mr. Naruhodo, I didn't know you had a sense for matters of the heart.
Not in the least. I sincerely said the first thing I thought of.
What does that even mean, Susato-san?
What? I can't love anyone? She's clearly an artist. Look. There's a canvas on the floor. Huh. Oops. What is that? The hygiene here is quite lacking.
Ah, a mouse, Mr. Naruhodo, an enormous mouse.
Vermin in a hospital, that doesn't seem the best. But it looks like it's a very healthy specimen, doesn't it? It's very plump. I'm not sure we can say that's down to the excellence of this facility, if that's what you were thinking. That's a very big suitcase in relation to her height. That must be a bag of Miss Green's personal belongings. She would have been brought directly here after she was found stabbed on the pavement, though. I expect a friend or family member probably brought some things for her. Alright then, let's see what's inside. What? You cannot do that? A change of clothes, no doubt, and... No, Mr. Naruhodo, you must never scrutinize a young maiden's personal belongings. But a young maiden might have chocolates, or biscuits, or caramel. Even so, that would be stealing. There are lots of bottles in that cabinet, aren't there? Do you think it's safe to keep them like that? Hey, if you were a patient here, I'd feel sure you'd take some medicine by mistake when you were half asleep. That is a worry, but at least the cabinet has a lock, even if it's only a flimsy-looking one. Oh, I've no doubt you managed to unlock that somehow while you were half asleep as well. There are limits even to what I can do when I'm half asleep, you know, Mr. Sato. Am I prone to sleepwalking? This looks like the patient's treatment notes. Let's see. Do not feed. What is this place, a zoo? You know, I seem to remember seeing an almost identical sign in our local park. For the pigeons, yes, this is a person. Poor woman, I hope she hasn't read this. Do not feed? Why not? This looks like the treatment notes for whoever's occupying this bed. Let's see. Do not permit to run around the hospital. These are not treatment notes, what the heck? The patient doesn't seem to be here at the moment, so... He or she is probably running around the hospital then. Oh dear, how worrying. What's worrying is why they haven't discharged the patient yet. Well, maybe she's got... I mean, inner issues, I don't know. There are all sorts of medicines in this cabinet, look. I'm not sure if it's safe leaving them in reach of everyone like this. Yes, you're right. I can imagine if you were peckish, you might try a whole bottle or two. When you're feeling hungry or something like that. Well, at least there seems to be a little lock to secure the cabinet doors. I don't imagine that would stop you if you were hungry. I worry that you'd break the lock. Hunger doesn't turn me into a criminal, you know, Mr. Sato. Oh my god, I seem to be... she seems to be having a very bad impression of me. Which is quite worrying. Good morning. Hello, I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan. Oh no! Was it your knife that? Are you the man who... No, I'm a lawyer. And I'm Susato Mikotoba, pleased to meet you. Oh no! Was it your knife then? Are you the one? No, I assure you, I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. We heard that you'd regained consciousness and wanted to come to give you our best wishes. Best wishes? For me? Thank you. I'm Olive Green. I'm an artist. Well, no, that's not right, is it? What I mean is, I'm trying to be an artist. Well, what I really mean is, I desperately want to be an artist. But the truth is, I don't have any talent. I know I don't. And so one day I was stabbed in the back. Oh, poor woman! Oh my goodness. I don't think that's related, actually. Everyone can become an artist, don't worry.
Gosh, this young woman seems to bend over backwards to put herself down.
Seeing as we're here, we should ask her about what happened from her perspective, I suppose. Or tell her the truth about what happened, what really happened. It was an accident! To suddenly be struck in the back by a blade as you were walking along the pavement. What a terrible experience you had, Miss Green.
It was so cold that day, and the fog was so thick, I couldn't see a thing. And that was 4 days ago now, I think, is that right?
Yes, that's right. I'm afraid you've been comatose all that time.
But the case has been solved, hasn't it? While I've been here in the hospital, I mean.
Indeed it has, my dear madam, spectacularly, by none other than I, Sherlock Holmes. Not really. What are you talking about? You weren't even in the trial.
Mr. Holmes, as you well know, it was Mr. Naruhodo's hard work in the court that solved the case.
Are you yet to hear what happened, Miss Green?
Yes, I'm afraid so. A gentleman from the police force is supposed to be coming to fill me in shortly.
Oh, I see.
Me coming around seems to have made everyone frantically busy. I'm so sorry, I should never have regained consciousness. It was selfish of me.
Oh no! Oh my goodness, poor woman.
Oh no, we are all so relieved that you're on the mend, Miss Green, really we are.
With that kind of attitude, maybe her surname should be Blue, not Green. Oh, interesting. What would be the color in the original though? Or what was the pun in the original Japanese version? I'm quite sure blue doesn't have the same annotation in Japan. So, you're an artist, are you, Miss Green?
Oh no! Oh, I couldn't possibly claim that. I'm a fledgling artist at best. I mean, I'm a student of art, really, at the Thorndike Academy of Fine Arts. Oh my, an Academy of Fine Arts. Great Britain is such a wonderful country.
Tell me, Miss Green, do you live hereabouts?
Oh no, actually, I don't deserve it, but I have a little flat on Brixton Road.
I see. How very interesting.
Oh no, is it?
Brixton is some 10 stops away on the underground from here, and Thorndike Academy is a mere 3-minute walk from Brixton town centre. Does that matter, Mr. Holmes? Perhaps not, but Briar Road is a far less salubrious part of town by comparison, dwelled in by those of inferior means, including the Maleficent. Maleficent? Why do you call him Maleficent, Mr. Moustache? He's not a culprit. Inferior means? I suppose Soseki-san does fit the bill. It struck me as somewhat out of the ordinary for a young fine arts student to be walking in such a district. That's all. I mean, as a student, you wouldn't have money either, but she is living in a good part of town, so... What's this? She suddenly clammed up.
Mr. Holmes, you should be ashamed of yourself, prying into a young maiden's private affairs.
Oh dear me, do forgive me.
If you don't mind, I'm being discharged shortly, so I need to pack up my things.
Oh yes, of course, we won't keep you. Thank you so much, Miss Green. Wait, do you not want to hear the truth of what happened? I guess not. Is there Mr. Naruhodo here? Mr. Naruhodo! Are you talking about me? Naruhodo now? Well, if you're looking for Naruhodo, the lawyer, that's me, but... Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, good! This is for you. It's a message from Mr. Saucy Nutmeg. What? Saucy Nutmeg? What is his name? Oh! Mr. Nutmeg! What? Oh my goodness, what did you call him? Saucy nutmeg. Oh god. Soseki Natsume? Oh my goodness, what the heck? But why would a policeman be delivering a message from Mr. Natsume? Exactly what's going on. What's a Scotland Yard constable doing playing delivery boy at this time in the morning? What are you waiting for? Let me see that. Okay. Oh. Well, this is most unexpected. Is something wrong, Mr. Sholmes? Is something wrong, Mr. Sholmes, he says. Have you not seen this note? I haven't! You snatched it right away. What? How could I have? It would seem that London's criminals have no intention of letting the great detective rest. A new case calls, a case of murder no less. We must depart at once. Murder? Call a cab. Time is of the essence. But the trouble is, we've yet to read Mr. Natsume's note. I was thinking we ought to pay him a visit in his lodgings once we did. That would be entirely convenient. Convenient? What do you mean? It's all here in the note, my dear fellows. The murder we must investigate took place at Mr. Moustache's lodgings. Wait, what? I'll hail a fiacre? Fiacre? What the heck is that? At once. Fiacre? Fiacre. It was only yesterday that Soseki-san was in court and we were dispelling doubts about his innocence. And now, the very next day, there's a murder at a man's own address. He may very well be the unluckiest man alive. Or so it seemed to us at the time, but we were soon to discover it was worse than we thought. Oh boy, what foreshadowing. It's 7 a.m., that's quite early. The jester? What on earth? Oh my, the gentleman is deceased without question. He's dead. Welcome, student Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire. Mr. Natsume. Oh, why is this happening? Why to me? I've only just got out of court yesterday. I was finally home after 2 days of misery. And then I wake up the next day to this. No early bird should catch a worm like this. Awful, walk without wiggle. I see, you were in high spirits again this morning, Mr. Moustache. Not the horrible hair-locked Sholmes! Shove off! Show yourself the door! I never invited you! Mr. Sholmes came here with us. I'm quite sure he'll be able to help you, Mr. Natsume. Okay, are you certain? Are you certain? Susato-san? I am entirely at your disposal, Mr. Moustache. What can I do for you? Oh. Here they are already, the busybodies. Ah, Inspector Gregson, what a pleasant surprise. Pleasant, is it? It gives me heartburn every time I see your face at a crime scene, Herr Sholmes. I deduce, Inspector, that your heartburn is a result of your excessive consumption of fried food. Good morning, Inspector. This is a crime scene. Do not go touching anything. Oh, good morning to you too, Sunshine. Oh! Now we're gonna touch something, I guess. Shall we talk to people first? This looks like a stage. Like the background of some scene in the theater. What a terrible thing to have happened. It's only been 3 days since I was arrested for the incident on the pavement outside. And then, having finally regained my freedom, it starts happening all over again. endless existence of excruciating experiences.
So, the victim lived here on the ground floor, and your room is just one story up, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. In a way, we were neighbors, I suppose.
So, did you know the victim? Were you friends?
Not willing to admit it.
What's the matter with Soseki-san now? It was an innocent enough question, wasn't it? Why does he seem so shaken by it?
Well, I suppose he wasn't a complete stranger. But did he ever invite me to his room? Never! On my honor, I swear it.
What an extreme reaction. You're probably wishing you'd never ask now, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo?